Hey guys, welcome to another YouTube video. This, and of course, and another one, of course, of these Big Bash match reviews. This one is this one today is just a single match, and that is the clash between the Sydney Sixers and the Hobart Hurricanes, which took place as I'm recording this last night. So it's gonna be a very quick one. The next episode is gonna be a big one. It's gonna be a triple header. And it is. And that is going to be the last episode for a while, because I'm hopefully gonna be going going, as I said so many times, going to Geelong for a week over the New Year's period. So that's going to take a bit of a back seat. So let's get straight into this. So it was a delayed start to the game, due to rain. The bat flip was delayed. Eventually, but it was basically like a brief shower or something like that, and the rain stopped. Unfortunately, the game was reduced to 14 overs a side. I think it was a 3 over power play, one over power surge. I'm trying to think of how many bowl. I think it was 3 bowlers. I can't remember what was the bowling sub. I think a couple of bowlers could bowl 3 overs. Another one can bowl 2, and then I think a couple can bowl 1 over. I think, I'm not so sure about that. I have to look back on that, but that was basically the rules. But in the end, the Sydney Sixers captain Moses Enriquez won the toss and elected to won the bat flip, and elected to bat first. It was a fast start by the Sixers openers of Josh Philippe and Curtis Patterson. But I think it was for the first time this season, the first 6 in the match was hit before the first boundary, before the first 4 could be hit in a match. I think Philippe hit first ball of his innings, hit it for 6. Patterson started slow. I mean, he could have been out in the first. I think it was on the second ball, but unfortunately, just didn't quite get to the fielder. Very quick. Said that they finished off their 3 over power play at number 37. Number 36. Soon afterwards, they got their the 50-run partnership off just 28 balls, and then soon after, Curtis Patterson got caught behind for 38. By that stage, I wasn't actually watching this part of the innings, because I was having dinner. So I couldn't watch it really. And it's the only bad part about watching on free-to-air TV is you can watch it on Channel 7, but on 7 Plus, you can't do that. The only thing you can watch the Big Bash on handheld is KO. That's it. Which is a bit BS really. But in the end, Patterson was caught behind for 38 off 25, and in that 68-run opening partnership with him and Philippe, the Sixers reached the halfway mark of the innings at 1 for 70 off 7, going exactly 10 runs and over. Soon after that, Josh Philippi went out, caught just inside the circle for a very good 43 from 21. I mean, really got the Sixers innings going. He went from ball one and just really went hammer and tong, really. Next ball, and then the next ball after that, Shadab Khan, who was the one that got Philippi out, he got 2 and 2 balls with a brilliant caught and bowled off of Moses Enriquez, which got Moses a golden duck, and then speaking of golden duck, Jordan Silk, who was playing his 100th BBL match, also got bowled for a golden duck, but this time off the man of the moment from the previous game against the Scorchers, Paddy Dooley, the so-called the windmill, as he's now been called with his action and that. So yeah. Then Christian came out. He also didn't last long. Got caught behind for a duck again. This time in the second. It was the second wicket in the over for Dooley, and I think there was a patch at one stage. Luckily I got the scorecard here. I'm gonna look at this now. I think they were at one stage. I'm trying to look this up. Yeah, at one stage they were like 4 for 2 at one stage. They went from 81. It went from 1 for 82 to 5 for 84, just like that. And suddenly we all thought, okay, the Sixers are in trouble, and this is a usually trouble, which they've done for the last two games that they've done. The first game against the Adelaide Strikers, and the second game against the Perth Scorchers. But soon they steadied. They steadied as well. I mean, at one stage, Hayden Kerr was out LBW. But he reviewed it. That was successful because I think it was pitched outside the line, so he was not out. They waited until the 12th over to take that one over power surge with that power surge over, going for only for 6 runs, really. And then Hayden Kerr got run out on the last ball for a quick 5-32 from 20. As the Sixers finished on a total of 137 for 6 after their 14 overs. Josh Philippi was definitely the Sixers' best batsman, of course, so with 43 from 21, who was supported by his fellow opener in Curtis Patterson with 38 from 25, and then the end of the innings with Hayden Kerr with quick 5-32 from 20. Of course, Paddy Dooley, of course, he backed up that stunning performance against the Scorchers, which won him man of the match, by the way. He backed it up with figures of 2 for 19 from his 3 overs. So, very good couple of games there from the windmill, there, which left the Hurricanes needing 138 runs from their 14 overs at a required run rate of just under 10 and over to make it back-to-back wins in this season. Of course, back up from their win against the Scorchers. It wasn't long until we had some action. Obviously, there was a not-out decision. I think it was off McDermott, I believe it was, which Moses went upstairs for. I think that ended up being hit out with the hit outside the line, so it was not out. Then soon afterwards, Darcy Short, he got knocked over for 13 off 11. It's been of a mediocre start really for Darcy Short in its BBL 12 season. He's had a couple of double-figured scores, but he hasn't really gone on with it really, pretty much. The Hurricanes ended their 3-over power play on 1 for 28, and then Ben McDermott played one onto his stumps for 17 from 13. He was increasingly getting frustrated with Ben. Before the ball before that, he got this ball. I think it was outside of stump, and unfortunately, he couldn't hit it. It couldn't whack it, and he was clearly frustrated. And of course, the next ball he just played on to add to his frustration really on that front. Halfway mark, the Hurricanes were 2 for 56 from their 7 overs, still requiring 82 runs from 42 balls to win the match, at a required run rate of almost 12 runs and over. That is absolutely unbelievable, really. Matty Wade, he didn't repeat his heroics from the game down at Launceston. He held out on the boundary for 15 off 17. Then Shadab also was the one next to go. He also got held out on the boundary for 14 off 11. Jimmy Neesham, when it came out there, he also didn't last long. He went out, caught behind for a run of ball 5, which handed Sean Abbott his second wicket. Then of course, this is and for you Hobart Hurricanes fans, this was the start of the Hasif Ali show. Obviously, they took the 1-over power surge in the 13th over. Of course, which ended in Tim David obviously holding out in the deep for just 8 off 9, with handing Curry his second wicket. But in that over, it took a wicket and 23 runs from that over. Most of them were hit by Asif Ali, and suddenly it all seemed lost at the start of that 1-over power surge. By the end of that, it was like, hang on, something's going on here. Suddenly, the Hobart Hurricanes were within a sniff of victory. Unfortunately, those were snuffed out when Asif Ali was another one to hold out on the boundary for an absolute thrilling knock of 41 from 13 deliveries. Most of his 41 runs were basically sixes, anyways. And that was it. That was it for the game. The Hurricanes ended on 731. 6 runs short of their target. Ali played a very lone hand for the Hurricanes with his knock of 41 from 13. Sean Abbott was again, despite going for just for a tick for just over 10.5 and over his economy rate. He took 2 for 32 from his 3 overs. Clearly, in terms of wickets, the best for them there. So in the end, the Sixers run by 6 runs to get themselves on the board in terms of this season, getting their first win of the season. You know, it was pretty hard. It was pretty hard, really, because I thought that that they were last year's finalists. I thought they would be contenders again, and as the old saying goes, you can't win the Big Bash at the start of the season, but you can lose it at the start of the season if you're not in good form. And unfortunately, they're not. I know they snuck over the line in this one, but their last, you know, the last couple of overs where they took where the Hurricanes took it down to the last over. It has to be alarming, really, for the Sixers, and they definitely need to improve in the next couple of games. I think I'm not sold on them yet in terms of them being finals contenders. I'm not sold on them at all, on them at all, despite me saying that they would be in finals contention pre-season. So on that front, so yeah, not surprisingly, Josh Philippe was named man of the match for his knock of 43 from 21. Not surprises there on that front. So it was a pretty interesting game, really. Of course, it shows that rain affected games can exude its own excitement. It was a pretty high scoring rain affected game. A few twists and turns, but in the end, the Sydney Sixers got their first win of BBL 12. So that is the end of this video. As I said at the start, this was only the one game. I'll do a triple header for the final episode. For the final episode in a while. Before I head on my break. So like this video if you're share this to anybody who's a Sydney Sixers fan, or if you're a Sydney Sixers fan, share this video as well. Comment down below. Do you think that the Sixers? Do you think that now with this win, the Sixers now can be off and running in terms of making the BBL finals? Do you think that this is the start? This is the start for them, or do you think that their bad start to the season with those two losses ultimately come back to bite them in the end? I'd love to hear your opinion, and also hear your opinions also about this game as well. What are your thoughts on it as well? And of course, one last thing, click on the big red button somewhere down there, which is labeled subscribe. But until next time, guys, I'll see you guys later, and wherever you may be, may the sun or the moon shine on you. It was definitely shining on the Sixers last night for their first win of the season.